Todd and Julie Chrisley are breaking their silence in a powerful new interview with Lara Trump on Fox News, marking their first major sit-down since their prison release and reported presidential pardon. The Chrisley Knows Best stars, who once ruled reality television with their Southern charm and unfiltered family dynamics, are now stepping back into the public eye with raw honesty about the darkest period of their lives, their faith, and their deep gratitude for a second chance. Sitting opposite Lara Trump in a calm, softly lit studio, Todd and Julie appear visibly changed. Gone are the flashy designer clothes and polished television gloss. Instead, they exude humility, warmth, and the quiet confidence of two people who have endured and survived a storm. Their interview is a deeply emotional reflection on life, justice, forgiveness, and the power of faith when the world turns its back. Todd begins by addressing their release, describing the moment they were reunited as one of overwhelming relief and divine mercy. His voice trembles slightly as he recalls the moment he saw Julie again after months of separation, saying that nothing could compare to the feeling of holding his wife's hand and knowing they had made it through the fire together. Julie, who had always been known as the steady heart of the family, becomes tearful as she recounts her time behind bars, describing it as a test of endurance and faith. She admits there were days she questioned everything, but found solace in prayer and letters from fans and family that reminded her she was not forgotten. Lara Trump, known for her calm and empathetic interviewing style, guides the conversation with respect and curiosity, asking how the couple managed to stay strong amid national scrutiny and personal suffering. Todd admits that there were moments of despair, but insists that God never abandoned them. He describes how both he and Julie turned to Scripture, sharing Bible verses through letters when they were unable to communicate otherwise. It was that spiritual connection, Todd says, that kept them alive in spirit even when their bodies were behind bars. Julie shares that her faith became her daily armor. Each morning, she prayed not only for herself, but for other women serving time beside her, many of whom she now considers lifelong friends. She says those relationships taught her about humility, grace, and resilience, and that she will forever carry those lessons with her. When Lara asks about their reaction to the presidential pardon that ultimately led to their release, both Todd and Julie pause, visibly emotional. Todd takes a deep breath and says the word grateful does not begin to describe what they feel. He credits divine intervention and the power of prayer for opening hearts in Washington and softening what he believes was an unjust sentence. Julie adds that she believes their story has a purpose beyond themselves, to shine a light on flaws within the justice system, and to give hope to families who are still fighting to be heard. The Chrisley's release and pardon have stirred strong reactions across America, with fans celebrating their freedom while critics question the decision. Yet in this interview, Todd and Julie focus not on controversy but on transformation. They speak about how the experience humbled them, deepened their love, and reminded them of what truly matters: faith, family, and forgiveness. They also express deep gratitude to their children, Savannah, Chase, Grayson, and Chloe, for holding the family together through chaos. Todd praises Savannah for her strength and leadership, saying she became the rock he had always hoped to be for his family. Julie recalls watching snippets of her daughter's podcast Unlocked, where Savannah fought publicly for justice for her parents. Julie says those moments gave her strength behind bars, knowing her daughter refused to give up. Lara gently shifts the conversation to what comes next for the couple. Todd smiles, explaining that while they're grateful to be home, they're still processing what it means to be free. They plan to take time to heal, reconnect, and rebuild their lives privately before making any decisions about returning to television. However, he acknowledges that the public's fascination with their story is unlikely to fade. Julie adds that while they are not focused on fame, they are open to using their platform for good, to advocate for prison reform, family support programs, and faith-based outreach for those affected by incarceration. The tone of the interview remains reflective but hopeful. There are moments of laughter when Lara asks about the first meal they had together after being released, and Todd humorously describes Julie insisting on cooking herself because she missed being in her own kitchen. He jokes that her chicken and dumplings tasted like heaven after 2 years of prison food. Beneath the humor, however, there is an unmistakable sense of rebirth. Todd and Julie speak about the value of simplicity, saying that they no longer measure success in luxury or ratings, but in peace, integrity, and the ability to sit at the dinner table with their children again. Todd confesses that prison stripped him of ego and pride, forcing him to confront his flaws. He says he emerged with a stronger sense of purpose, to serve, to tell the truth, and to live with transparency. Julie nods, saying that she learned the importance of grace under pressure, especially when facing judgment from the world. As the conversation deepens, Lara Trump brings up the couple's strong fan base, noting that despite years of public scrutiny, the Chrisley's supporters have remained loyal and vocal. Todd becomes emotional, thanking fans who wrote letters, prayed, and stood by their family. He says that those small acts of kindness were often lifelines during dark days when hope seemed far away. Julie adds that forgiveness has become a cornerstone of their new journey. She says they've forgiven those who wronged them, and even those who judged them harshly, because carrying resentment only prolongs the pain. She believes God placed them in this position for a reason: to learn, to teach, and to become living examples of redemption. Lara closes the interview by asking what message they would give to others who feel broken or unfairly judged. Todd answers softly that faith is not about being perfect. It's about believing that no matter how far you fall, grace can still reach you. He says that every morning he wakes up free. He thanks God for another chance to live differently. Julie echoes the sentiment, saying she now cherishes every small moment: the sound of her children's laughter, the smell of fresh coffee, the feel of sunlight through her kitchen window. The interview ends with a quiet embrace between Todd, Julie, and Lara, symbolizing not just an end, but a beginning. As the camera fades, viewers are left with an image of two people profoundly changed by suffering, but unbroken by it. Todd and Julie Chrisley's journey, from reality TV fame to federal prison, and finally to redemption, is now one of the most talked about comeback stories in recent memory. Their willingness to face their truth on national television shows a rare vulnerability and courage that resonate far beyond their fan base. For many, the Chrisley's Fox News interview is more than just an update on their lives. It's a testimony of endurance, faith, and the belief that grace can triumph over even the darkest chapters. As they move forward, Todd and Julie say they want to rebuild not only their lives, but also their legacy, one grounded in faith, forgiveness, and family unity. And as the world watches, it's clear their story is far from over.